Today I'm working on an Ariens Path Pro, specifically the one with the remote chute operation, and I'm going to go over how to adjust the cables if they become out of adjustment. What happens is snow gets up in the mechanism and freezes, and then either the cables pop out of the sprocket entirely, or like we have here today, they become misaligned, and then there's a lot of slop in the handle, and you have a lot of dead zone essentially, where you're moving the handle all around, and the chute isn't moving at all until it decides to engage at that certain point. You really only need a couple things for this job: 10mm socket, 8mm socket, ratchet. I'm going to be using an impact driver, but you don't need one. And at the end of all this, I'm going to be using some fluid film to spray around the chute and its components because I've never done it before, but I have some friends that use it on their snowblowers and it works great to displace any of that water and keep things from freezing up. The first step is to remove the three 10mm bolts holding the chute on, and there's no need to remember how that came off because it can only go on one way. In addition to that, once you get the shroud off, you'll see that there's almost like a little locator on the ring itself that essentially shows which end is up, or the chute facing forward, top dead center, however you want to refer to it. There's 4 bolts on top of this cover. 2 are here, and then the other 2 are on the sides. Once you're done with those 4, head to the front of the snowblower, tip it on its back, and then you'll see the other 2 bolts holding the rest of the cover on. In a previous time, I had it where the cables came unwound from this little sprocket, and you have to remove the center bolt, rewind the sprocket, and then you can use it. Today, we're just adjusting the cables though. Before loosening the cable stays, make sure that the chute is aimed forward and the handle's in the middle. You could probably work from the left or right extreme, but it's easy to know where the chute is in the center, and same with the handle, so that's how I work. You can see how the cables are misaligned, so you want to use an 8mm socket, loosen the stay, you don't have to remove it entirely, and then adjust the cables so that they're even with each other. If you pull them too hard, you're going to either rotate the cable or pull them one extreme to the other, which you don't want. Use one hand to hold the cables taut where you want them to be, and then use the other hand to tighten down the cable stays. With the cables aligned properly and tightened down, you'll notice that there's now zero slack in this handle, and when you move the handle, it's going to directly move the chute instead of having that huge dead zone. Finally, I want to address what I think is the cause of this happening, is that snow gets packed in this ring and then freezes, and now you can't rotate the chute. I've had this happen while using the snowblower, and I've also had it happen because I store mine outside in a shed as opposed to a heated garage, so if I use it and then put it away and then take it back out, now it's frozen and I can't move the chute. I've used fluid film on tools, on my car, and I've had friends that use it on their snowblower and they rave about it. So that's all I'm doing here, is just applying some fluid film in hopes that it'll displace the water and keep this from freezing ever again. At this point, whether or not you applied the fluid film, you can put the shroud back on. It's just a reverse removal, real simple. Don't over tighten anything because it's all plastic, you don't want to break it. And I hope it helped you fix your snowblower. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.